and welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast for experimenters. Hello, everyone.
For rebranded babies.
We are rebranding. I am your host, GFF, and joining me, aka Todd, and joining me, as always, is my teeny tiny adorable little husband, Rob.
ROB.
Yes, exactly. We're just going by letters now. Hi.
No, it's funny because it makes me think of one of our favorite Twitch streamers who also goes by initials. Yeah. And it used to be a longer thing. And I think he realized it was a little limiting.
Yeah, so, he used to be Cool Black Dude, and then he just changed it to CBD, which is so funny. Right? Because that's already a thing. Anagram? Is that when it's just letters?
Acronym.
Way Samsonite. Way off.
Anagram is a jumble.
Anyway, welcome back to the pod, everybody.
Hi.
We are switching it up a little bit. I'm trying something new. We are changing the name of the podcast officially for the time being to GFF and Friends. I will also be updating the artwork. Everything will change.
I was like, you got some work ahead of you.
I feel bad. I have to drop the words of my nickname, of my moniker, because I think it is holding me back via the filters of like AI and apps and such, is what I was told. I spoke to someone and they're like, yeah, those words probably are holding you back.
They're non-slur slurs.
Right? Like, I'm very proud to be G and F, and I love those words, and I use those words all the time, and they're not insults or slurs to me, but I get how the bully filters and the, like, child filters probably hear those and think they're bad words and filter them out. So we will always be proud to be G and F here, but we are only going to use the letters for the time being. It's just an experiment to see.
Well, within the episode, can we say words? That's a thing. We can do that, though, right?
Yeah, and I was told that, especially when it comes to YouTube, they only scan the first 5 minutes. They scan the whole thing, but they only, like, care about the filters for the first 5 minutes.
Like those YouTube videos we watch about Drag Race, where even the channel doesn't say their own name for the first, like, couple segments.
Exactly. You have to, like, hide stuff after the first 5 minutes, is what I've been told. Honestly, I've tried research, but it's not like this is on YouTube's FAQ. This is just people talking and people saying things. So
this could all be crazy superstition of, like, you know, if you bounce a nickel off your pillow, you'll before you
it'll be a boy.
Yeah, exactly. I think we might be getting into like 1970s old wives' tale.
I was like, there's a phrase for it.
Yeah, but like it's the modern equivalent, the digital algorithm old wives' tales.
Yeah, but who knows? It's all an experiment. We shall see. Because there's a thing. So, you know, I put podcast in the title of my YouTube videos, and because I use that word, I get a lot of bots and a lot of people DMing me and messaging me saying, I see that you've done so many episodes, very proud of your work, but you should be doing this to further your reach and all this
your
stuff.
SEO is non-existent.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
And like, so I think excuse me, I think because I use the words G and F, it just takes me out of SEO, which is search engine optimization. Big words here on the GFF podcast.
Hey, we are in a tech city, so, you know, we got to speak the lingo, the jargon.
Right. But it is, like, I kind of proved it one time. I recorded a TikTok, and TikTok does not like other apps at all, like, even if you just say the names. And it especially doesn't like when you try to redirect people to other websites. So one time I just said the name of my YouTube channel. I was like, youtube.com. And because I said .com, it froze the video. It was literally frozen at 0 views for like 2 days. So I deleted it, went through, took out the, like, bleeped the words .com and YouTube and stuff like that, put it up, and then it got, 10,000 views. So, I've heard other people say that too. It gets like trapped in review.
I saw a video on TikTok just a couple days ago of somebody saying that, like, you shouldn't even show up a UPC code if you can help it. Anything that might potentially snag a filter that might redirect you somewhere else. Well, so like if you have a QR code on a like, say you're doing a story about a box of Cheerios and it has a QR code on it sending you to, a thing to go help starving children. You got to cover up that QR code if you're going to show this video, because like anything that might get flagged apparently to take you off app is considered potentially a hindrance.
Well, and that's what I was going to say too. When I did that video, so when we were in Vegas, we had this really fun thing happen to us where I saw a TikTok of a guy saying, hey, if you're in Vegas, I got 2 free tickets to the Sphere. It literally happened to be that night. We needed plans. Like, it was like cosmic alignment. And so then I did a, join me as we go to the Sphere video. And the Sphere is covered in QR codes for maps, bathrooms, tickets, food. There's QR codes security, literally everywhere. And because I accidentally showed a QR code in the video, I got a message as soon as I posted it that was like, your video is not available for the FYP because it has a QR code in it. And I was like, it does? And I had to go back through, and there at one point, not even a full second, half a second, it shows a QR code on a screen for like a seat map. And I was like, are you kidding me? But luckily my followers are so great, and the algorithm at the time was so cool that I didn't need to depend on the FYP. People just shared it and blew it up, and that video got a ton of views on its own merit, because it was an adorable story. Just sucks because it could have gone so much more viral if I hadn't included that stupid QR code. Whatever, it happens.
Please never talk about the viral potential of anything ever again. That's just so gross.
Right. Well, I mean, you can kind of, it's, I don't want to say it's science, but like that video ended up getting like 50 or 75,000 views on its own, just of people sharing it and seeing it and liking it. So like, had it been available to get into the main line of the TikTok algorithm, it would have. And I consider 1 million views viral. I think it would hit 1 million.
I know, but I think we've talked about this though. I still consider that as just a thing of like virality. I feel like you can talk about in retrospect. Yes, it went viral. However, like to say that something, it could have gone viral is just so oddly
It's like saying, I know that I would have won roulette if I just kept playing.
Right. Or it's, I don't know, it just feels like, there's something kind of just icky about it. It feels, I don't know, I feel like the best viral stuff is the stuff that just happens, which is like, it's the stuff that isn't.
Yeah, that's how we all think.
It's not fishing for virality. And obviously I know a lot of like marketing stuff that does is very much intentional.
I was going to say, you just hate it because it's a buzzword in your industry.
Well, but yeah, and also like seriously, if I had a nickel for every time someone came to me with a brief, like, we need to go viral. That you can, I feel like you can do your best, you cannot plan for, you cannot bank on, and you cannot be upset if it does not happen.
Yeah.
Like that is 100% how that works.
Yeah, in your industry, a bunch of rock stars come together and they want their ninjas to make something go viral and circle back and put a pin in it. And then, what are the other words that they use around your office?
I feel like you've already kind of just... Like,
epic.
Oh God! Like I feel like with every one of those words that you threw at me, I just like withered away a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we need to teach you how to leave work at work, because a lot of your opinions overlap into real life.
However, I do hate the overuse of the word epic. I will stand by that forever. I feel like at this point, unless you are literally speaking about a long poem or the record label that Michael Jackson was on, you gotta find a new word. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there are two very specific uses that are necessary at this point. Otherwise, though, I'm sorry. Your trip to the grocery store wasn't epic. It wasn't. I don't care what happened. It wasn't.
Little man, huge opinions.
I'm very much like what is it? Edna Krabappel, in that I'm very able to be personally offended by broad social trends. But like the overuse of epic has been a thing that has been bothering me for how long? Like 15 years? Like as long as we've known each other, probably longer.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think that's gotta have been just one of my peeves.
Well, don't let the game studio hear you say that.
No, sorry, third case. Like, the game studio that, the publisher that does Fortnite. Like, that's a
fork knife.
Like, honestly, yes. Like, that's a copyrighted thing. Yes. I don't know how else to refer to you. But yeah, sorry. And now this old man will stop yelling at clouds.
I'll say, we're off of your lawn. Stop yelling at us. But speaking of opinions, I think we should move into the thing that we were going to talk about. We've been in a big movie kick as of late. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know this.
But at this point, honestly, maybe we should reconsider.
Right? We have watched 2 complete stinkers in a row. And not even just complete stinkers, like Razzie award-winning worst movies of the year. How did this get made? Terrible story films.
Well, and then also, like, to make matters worse, I have been doing like late night, taking advantage of a subscription before it goes away, or movies before they leave a service.
We subscribed to AMC Plus, and he canceled it, but we still have like 2 weeks left.
Although I think these two actually are both on Peacock, which we keep anyway, but they're both leaving the service soon. So I was like, well, I need to watch these. And so I have also watched 2 other movies in between these 2 stinkers. And so I have had now a string of 4 crap movies that are just really getting to me. But anyway, let's talk about the shared experience, and then we can talk about the real treats that I did in between.
Well, let's get yours out of the way first. course, because that'll be short.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go into detail.
He watched the Terrifier movies.
Yes.
Because the Art the Clown, which is the lead of the Terrifier movies, is becoming a
franchise.
A franchise.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to like Halloween decor and like spirit Halloween costumes and stuff, Art the Clown is joining Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and stuff as a new monster. So we kind of made it a point to like eventually we will watch them so we can understand the hype, but
cultural literacy, you know.
I don't do well with like ultra body gore, and so I was like, I think I'm gonna skip it. I've heard too many gross things. I heard they're just gross movies, and so Rob saw they were on Peacock and they were leaving. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna give them a whirl.
Yeah,
and they're super gross.
And like the first one is very, very, very low budget. And honestly, I feel like the first one was probably the most effective because it was very clear on what it wanted to do. But it is interesting because I was as you fire them up on Peacock, it gives you like statistical stuff or tomato scores and stuff. The first one was like a 50% tomato, which I was like, you know what, that makes sense for especially a niche horror title. Yeah, I get it. And it was like an hour and 24 minutes. Like, sign me up. Movie was not great. But I can see what it was trying to do. Sorry, excuse me. I had to burp. Sorry.
Directly into the microphone.
But like, I see what it was trying to do. I can appreciate that. I get it. Like very much low budge.
Ultra indie. Yeah.
Yeah. Low budge indie vibes.
Budge means budget.
Yeah. Totally fine. Then the sequel like definitely has a lot more money thrown at it. It has an extra hour of runtime. I do not know how that movie needed to be 2.5 hours long.
First of all, horror movies should never be longer than 90 minutes.
Seriously.
It like just get in, get out, show us your scares, and we're good to go.
Yeah. And the second one it just kind of takes it into a degree where like the world doesn't make sense anymore. And, like honestly, like there's no logic to it. I feel like every other movie that's kind of found a way to bring someone back or justify a thing, they at least find some reason for it. This movie, no reason. It's just a thing. Go with it. And yeah, like there's a couple of high points of like goofy violence. And honestly, it's fine. I tried describing one to Todd, and I realized me describing it is much more horrifying than literally seeing it, because seeing it was funny at the time.
Pause. So this is a thing in our relationship where like I'll literally sit down to eat, and he's like, "Hey, can I tell you the grossest thing I saw in a movie?" And I'm like, "I literally just sat down with food in front of me." And and then he'll be like, "It's not that gross," and then he'll be like, "Her eyes were ripped out, her head was chopped off."
I wasn't gonna go into any, but like, no, but it is funny because like I was describing something, and I was like, "Oh wait, this actually sounds horrific." Because if you just imagine it, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But when you see
the worst was when you told me about that book you read, and you were like, no, let me just tell you the story of this book. And it was the most violent body gore you've ever heard in your life. And I was like, why did you feel the need to tell me that?
And that was the novel version of Under the Skin, made into the movie with Scarlett Johansson, which I adored.
And the whole time I'm like, is this story gonna end? I don't want to hear this. And he's like, no. But then like she ripped off everyone's head, and I was like, can you please stop? Like he wouldn't stop telling me the gore of this book.
Anyway, so Terrifier 2, way too long, not really worth a lot of the stuff. And the thing is, they have a third one coming out this year, which is a Christmas themed.
I saw still. I was like, he's dressed as Santa.
And so, like, I'm intrigued. I'm curious. And they actually have, like, this is the first one to actually have, like, a known, actor, like a star in the lead.
A name, they call them.
Like a name. But it's like, I mean, they're very much like a B, or like they used to be A, and now they're very much in that phase of their career. Like, it's along those lines. So yeah, there is actually a name attached on this one, and so I'm curious.
Do you know who it is?
I've forgotten already.
Exactly.
And my phone's over there, which I feel like I have to make a reference every episode how my phone's over there, and I'm not going to pick it up. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I watched those two, and like, yeah, not great. I will probably continue to watch things as they're available for streaming just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to go back because it turns out Terrifier is the third appearance of Art the Clown from that director. He did like 2 shorts before that, and I'm not going to hunt those down. I'm not doing that. That's homework that I do not need.
That's very much the horror pipeline, is like short to feature, like Hereditary dude.
Ari Aster.
But yeah, I accidentally kind of stuck around for like 15 minutes of Terrifier 1. And it was so bad and just gross for gross sake and made no sense. And it was so indie and low budget. I was like, there's a difference between like John Waters' indie low budget that's just fun and nostalgic to watch. But when it's a modern movie, I'm like, you shot this on your phone and it's bad.
Well, and it is interesting because I feel like, even the most low budget films now, you can kind of give a lot of high production quality illusion if you know what you're doing when it comes to lighting or whatever. Like there's a lot of things you can do with a shoestring budget and actually a very professional looking movie.
Yeah.
But also horror, I think it kind of likes leaning into that sort of 70s like hyper, like overexposed or like kind of crazy dark, just super muddy footage.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, messy. Anyway, let's talk about the shared experiences now that we can actually speak a little bit more in depth about.
Anyway, final review, Terrifier. You can skip it.
Yeah, they're both, and like honestly, and I'm into niche horror, and they were both like, eh. Although I will say, Art the Clown at least is kind of funny at times. Like he's a character who likes to play with his victims. Unfortunately, it's usually after the fact. But like it has a dark sense of humor to it if you can get past just how generally juicy they are.
Should that be our one of our taglines? You can skip it. Cha-ching. Kaboom.
Anyway.
Tangent sidebar. We love to make fun. There for a while there were like catchphrase comics.
Yeah,
especially like open mics and stuff when I would do shows and Rob would come with me and
they had to stamp a joke.
There was this guy that was just trying to be a catchphrase comic and make it work. And after every joke, he'd go kaboom and slam his elbow down in the air
like a trucker pulling their horn.
Like a trucker horn. And so we adopted that into our life very quickly as just mega cheese.
Yeah,
kaboom.
It's a boom goes the dynamite kind of level of just oof.
But yeah, I think that'll be our Siskel and Ebert 2 thumbs down. You can skip it.
You can skip it.
Speaking of moving on, the other movies that we watched together that were awful was Trap by M. Night Shyamalan,
which we were warned.
And we're warning you, these we will probably spoil things. So if you really want to watch those movies and not know a single thing, tune out now, skip ahead to what's your order, because we're not going to like fully say the ending, but we will talk about things in the movies that were bad. Yeah. So spoiler alert, we might spoil this movie, but you're not missing out.
Well, and at this point, I feel like everyone kind of knows where they stand on the M. Night Shyamalan movies. Either like you rush out to see them or you recognize that like at this point you don't care.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those are the two people.
Yeah.
And that probably includes movies by his immediate family as well.
Yeah. And this one is so disappointing. It's twistless. I mean, there's kind of a mini twist at the end, but not really. It's not that big of a reveal. We actually thought it was going to be a different reveal.
Well, and for me, honestly, and there's another one of those like Alien Romulus situations. For some reason, I was kind of on board with the return of him. Oh, I enjoyed Old. I actually really thought Old was fun.
I liked Old. I thought it was cool.
And so I was like down for a return of him. I was like, let's go. And I'd heard that his new movie was set in a, arena performance venue. And I was like, that sounds cool. And then
well, it was during a concert.
Yeah, concert. No, it's like turn off brain. That sounds cool. I'm in. And so I didn't even know anything. I didn't even know what the reveal that the trailer gives. And so honestly, I was like down, and then all of a sudden like there's a reveal like 10 minutes in the movie. I was like, oh. Yeah. And then after that I was like, well, there's got to be more to this movie. And it tried its best, and by the time it was done, it was like 4 different movies. Its last act would not end.
It wouldn't stop.
It would not end.
So if you've been listening to the podcast, Rob hates trailers with every ounce of his being.
I don't hate them. I'm just too good at watching them and piecing together the movie, because a lot of trailers, and this is not a unique complaint. A lot of trailers give away too much.
Sure. And but my favorite thing now when we're watching movies at home is telling him what was in the trailer, like while it's happening. And so the reveal of Trap, that Josh Hartnett is a serial killer at a concert and they're trying to catch him, is literally the whole trailer. And it is also literally the first 10 minutes of the movie. It happened so fast. And I was like, well, that was the trailer that you didn't want to watch. And,
well, at least I got something.
Yeah. But the reveal of him being the serial killer they're trying to catch at this concert is the first 10 minutes of the movie. So then there's 2 hours left?
Well, seriously, I think it was only wasn't it like an hour and 40 minutes?
Right? It might have been just under 2 hours.
It might have been like just the longest hour and 40 minutes of our lives. Or it might have been 2 hours. Stop. It was so long. And honestly, like, I'm not that guy who just like wants to harp about runtime, because like seriously, some of my favorite movies are long, but they just blow by because they're well crafted movies.
Yeah,
this one just would not end.
I have been very excited about the Josh Hartnett assance of his return to acting. I love him so much. Like
he is aging so well.
He's aging so well. He's such a sweet, nice man. He's a good actor, and he was so much of the 90s. Like growing up, we're almost the same age. I think he's maybe like 3 or 4 years older than me, but it's so nice to have him back. And he didn't touch his face. His face has not been touched, or if it has, it's been immaculate.
Very tasteful work, if so.
I don't think he's touched his face at all. He's dyeing his hair, but like, who isn't? Everybody dyes their hair.
I feel like he might be doing like touches of Botox, but like very,
You cannot tell.
If he's doing it, is a very natural maintenance he's doing.
And he looks almost exactly like he did in the 90s. Just, a little worn in.
Just zaddied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did randomly take his shirt off at the end. I don't know why, but I wasn't complaining.
I wonder if that was one of those things of like, I've been working real hard. I just need to do this.
Yeah. But one thing about M. Night Shyamalan is that he does not care about Nepo babies. He is leaning into Nepo babies. He is doing everything he can to make his daughters have careers. And this movie especially, this daughter, I don't know, I never got her name. She plays the pop star in the movie that they're at the concert. And she wrote all the music. And she is very talented. She can play the piano and sing. And she wrote all the music. But it is very generic pop music, and she cannot act, and there's a lot of acting for this character.
Yeah, well, and honestly, and it's so funny because like the Nepo baby thing does bother me, but also at the same time, it's funny for some reason. I'm rooting for M. Night Shyamalan so much, just as a guy who kind of just showed up out of nowhere and it feels like a first generation filmmaker to really like blow up. Like he's not a Nepo baby, that like I kind of can't help but be like, I'm glad he's giving his kids opportunities. Yeah. And this, at least I do feel like she's not going to get hired by other directors.
Right. She cannot act. She's not booking any other roles.
It's kind of like how I feel about Alfred Hitchcock with his daughter. I don't think she was that great of an actress either. But like she's in so many episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and she kind of bothers me. But like,
I thought she was good. I think she's cute.
Well, anyway. Mostly I think it's her voice that bothers me. But like, it's a thing. So like, I get it, and I know that his other daughter is like, doing her thing with The Watchers, which I didn't love.
I loved that movie.
I didn't care for it, but also I didn't love the book.
But it was a little long. But I thought it was really well directed. I thought it was really cool, and I like that his daughter went behind the scenes for that.
Yeah. No,
but this daughter wants to be Lady Gaga. Well, she's even called Lady Raven in the movie.
I do feel like it's one of those things of like, let me help you any way I can. And I do feel like eventually she's going to have to either, stand on her own. And it either will happen or won't. But,
I feel like Nepo babies like that. She's not in the oh God, what's her name? Joan Crawford. Like he's not going to leave her out of the will. Like he's going to give her all his money. She's set.
Yeah,
she's going to be fine.
She'll be fine. Also the fact that she has a bunch of songs in a movie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's been trying to get her music career off the ground for years.
She might be getting into residual territory where she just might have a long tail on Trap for a while.
Has a song in the movie Old, which we like. Yeah. The movie, not the song.
She had an EP for Servant, the TV
and then
show.
She had songs in his show for Apple, Servant, and now she did the whole soundtrack to this. Terrible. Like, God love her. She could maybe do Casinos for the rest of her life. She's never going to be famous.
Yeah, I mean, she's a little, listen, God, we sound so mean. It's just it's very derivative music. It's just very much like it's imitating a lot of other genres.
The best thing though is like in the movie. Also, I feel like they did zero research into what it's like to go to an actual concert, especially like a giant pop star concert. But at one point in the movie, she goes, "This is my favorite part of the concert." First of all, no one says the word concert. They would say show. Like even Taylor Swift should be like, "This is the best part of the show." No, it's like when when Miranda kept saying, "I got tickets to the comedy concert." No one says comedy concert. And in this movie, she's like, "This is my favorite part of the concert." I was like, pop stars don't call their shows concerts.
Well, it's like, because we talked about the comedy concert thing, because like I associate that as very much as like the term for a comedy special that made its way into theaters in the 80s, because those were concert films.
Yeah.
And so it's funny. I feel like that was such a moment in time. And if anything, I felt like
Miranda was going to see Che at a club.
I feel like it was Miranda showing her age a little bit. I'm just like, that is what I think of when I think of like Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
But she literally, and it was at this point, dear reader, that I realized, oh, this girl's a terrible actor, because she goes, "This is my favorite part of the concert. We bring someone up," and like literally, I was like, what is that line read? Who approved that line read? Also, it's your favorite part, and that's the energy you give to it.
That's one of our favorite jokes. Whenever anyone says, "Now's my favorite part of the show," and if they just sound like they just woke up, it's like, oh man.
Or if the edible is hitting.
You sound thrilled. Your favorite part. Where were you at with the rest of this? Like, oof.
This is the energy you show for your favorite part.
But yeah, anyway, Trap was, it was a mess. It was a mess.
It was so messy, and it made zero sense, and it was just bad. And it also ended, I don't want to say cliffhanger, but it ended like with action that could denote a sequel. And I was like, if they make a sequel to this movie, I'm burning it down.
If he turns this into a trilogy like he did with Unbreakable, like,
right?
No, just someone needs to stop him.
He's almost trying to make like a very slow Watchmen, where he's like doing an origin story of every character, and it's like, ugh, come on.
You don't have to. It's cool.
Anyway, you can skip it.
But however, one thing that was kind of interesting, and this was like a cute thing here, that I did not realize, Haley Mills is in it.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. The return of Haley Mills,
which
always from the back, like 90% of her appearances are the back of her head, and then voiceover on a walkie-talkie.
But seriously, and then the funny thing is that this is one of those where I missed the clear reference that, like, I think was the motivation for her casting here, is that the movie's called Trap, and she was known for being in The Parent Trap. So, like, basically, and this movie is in a sense kind of another Parent Trap. And so,
the whole story is Josh Hartnett is with his daughter the whole time, so he is a parent getting trapped.
Yeah,
and Haley Mills was in The Parent Trap.
And I
get it. Yeah. You guys get it.
Which and it's funny, and that's another reason why, like, as much as like M. Night Shyamalan's kind of like Rimshot, yeah. As much as like M. Night Shyamalan's very on the nose about stuff, I kind of appreciated that a little bit. That was cute.
All right, let's take a break real fast because I need to check batteries. We'll be back.
Okay.
Pause. And we're back. Sorry about that, y'all. So, we got the Zoom podcaster. It takes batteries. The first couple times we did it, the batteries were fine. Now it just seems to be eating batteries. So we have decided to switch to the power cord, and we've plugged it in.
Which I've been rooting for the whole time. Although the battery thing is nice.
Yeah.
But
I just like the portability of battery, and I wanted the batteries to work so bad because we have a Costco size thing of Duracells, and I just want to use them.
Well, it's good to know for emergencies, but this is better.
But now we're plugged in, so hopefully nothing changed.
Now we can just keep going forever.
Yeah, right. Got a rim shot in there. Hopefully that worked. But anyway, back to what we were saying. You can skip Trap. You can skip it. Oh my God, we're totally going to make it a catchphrase. And then the other movie we watched is on Netflix called The Deliverance. It stars Glenn Close and Andra Day, and it was directed by Lee Daniels. So many ingredients for a good film. This movie was awful, you guys. It kind of sells itself as an exorcism horror film, but it doesn't get to that for like an hour and a half.
The hook that you got me on was a very different hook.
What did I say?
It was about Glenn Close specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you got to do the one sentence description for everybody that you gave me.
Which was?
There's a movie where Glenn Close speaks in
AAVI? AAVE vernacular.
Oh my God! Now I feel terrible. But yeah, so like basically, it is Glenn Close speaking with a very heavy. Sort of, I guess, black accent.
Yeah. And
American sort of.
Well, that's how it was sold to everyone when she started filming it. And like,
which I was like, this sounds like a crazy. And honestly, if Glenn Close can do anything.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, she's
if one anybody of the, can do this role, it's her.
Yeah. She is an actor that I will trust with most tasks.
Yeah. And the fact that like Lee Daniels was directing it and it was starring, an all black cast. Glenn Close was the only white person. Oh, Monique is in it too. It was like Monique's return to film,
which I've never seen Precious, but yeah, Monique's. It's funny. I mean, like this role was not great for her, but she's pretty good.
Such a good actor.
She's good.
She's really good. She did so well with what she was given for this film. But yes. I enjoy watching Monique on screen. She's really good.
I don't think I've ever seen her before.
She's good. She's funny and talented.
But yeah.
But yeah, so the way this, like when everyone started talking about this movie that Glenn Close was playing this character, it was literally like, what? How are they going to do this? How are they going to do this respectfully? The character she's playing is based on like a woman who's like really famous on TikTok and all this stuff. And she actually met with her and like kind of used her as a dialect coach and stuff. But then the actual role didn't turn out. She doesn't really sound like that lady. She kind of just did like a heavy Southern accent. Like she didn't like lean into the AAIV.
I feel terrible that we don't know this.
It's AAV something. AAVE. Todd keep saying it. That'll make it right.
African American Vernacular English. So probably, I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah, so maybe it's AAVE. But yeah, she ended up just kind of doing a heavy Southern accent. But y'all, this movie is all over the place. it's so slow and so long. Like, I feel like we always say 30 minutes can be cut from a film. Literally 30 minutes of just reaction shots and people saying the same thing over and over again could be cut from this film.
Well, and it is one of those where it's like, we get it. Every kind of possession movie has to do a certain level of credibility smashing of the people around those being possessed. Like, you have to do something to sort of make them questionable of all of what they're saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of movies are able to do that in a much more succinct manner. We literally had to see the same shit happen like 3 or 4 times. Literally, it was like beat for beat of like, problem happens, this person shows up, this scene happens, and then it happened twice more.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those things of like, okay, we get it. We understand. We know how this works. And like, not to keep looking to this movie for a lot of stuff, but I literally said, I was like, Candyman did this in a fraction of the time and much more effectively.
Yeah.
Like, that movie completely strikes a woman's freedom and credibility from her in record time. And this movie just...
Like, the Andra Day plays an alcoholic, and she keeps with children, and Glenn Close is her mother, and it's that thing where she keeps like going out and getting drunk and then coming home and be like, you drank, didn't you? No, I didn't. You're drunk, aren't you? I had one drink, pass out, throw up, and then
Child
like
Protective Services after some sort of drama,
and then rinse and repeat like 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we get it. She's an alcoholic. She's going out to drink again. She's drunk again. Like, literally, the script of this movie is so weird. Like, I know there's a podcast, I think, called How Did This Get Made? This better be on there, because I don't understand how they got Glenn Close.
Well, and also, like, it is a thing where I feel like I should probably stop watching possession movies. They never stick the landing. They never have good endings. And, like, honestly, beat for beat, they're always the same thing. Like, as the possession starts to happen, there's, like, 1 or 2 gross out moments.
Yeah.
And, usually involving the machine that is the human, and what we are capable of producing. And, yeah, it's just one of those things of just, I don't know. Like, I feel like beat for beat, I've seen it so many times. And, like, I guess there were a few moments where I was like, that's neat. But also, by the time a lot of those were happening, I was like, what are the rules of this movie? I feel like I knew what the rules were, and all of a sudden you're changing the rules and you're giving these new abilities to things, and like just new connections and new power. I'm like, this is
well, and then they literally just stole the demon from Exorcist. Like, it literally is just like deep scraggly voice. People start saying like, your mother sucks cocks in hell, like all that kind of stuff.
Literally, like at one point, like Todd made a joke of what a character might say if they were possessed, and
a second after I said it,
the character said the line with one additional adjective in there that was very specific to the situation. But like, literally, it was the sentence, and we both looked at each other like, okay,
yeah. It just became so predictable at that point.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just.
So literally they just stole the demon from Exorcist, and like every possession movie, they cast out the demon, and then at the end, she's sober. She was an atheist before. Now she's Christian, and she's getting back with her husband, and they're moving to a better house and to a better city, and their lives are better. And so my takeaway from the film was, so the demon made your life better.
Seriously, it tested you and really like saved your family.
Yeah, without the demon, you'd still be an alcoholic.
You'd be a mess.
You'd be single. You'd be living in that dilapidated house.
Monique would be up your ass about how you're raising your children.
Yeah, she was a social worker.
Yeah.
Monique would be there every day yelling at you about your children. So it's like, thankfully the demon saved our lives.
Seriously.
That's my takeaway from it. Maybe I'm just an optimist.
Better living through demon keeping.
Yeah.
It was, and there was something, there was something else I was thinking of about this.
But there are good like GIFs and clips coming out of just Glenn Close in this character, which if we had to go through that to get this character of Glenn Close, then by all means, we'll take it. But it's an awful movie.
I mean, and I will never see Hillbilly Elegy, but I do actually think it's kind of interesting that I guess like Glenn Close is thriving in the sort of like trashy white woman role.
Netflix has Glenn Close on speed dial for just crazy characters.
Yeah, for like
characters.
Middle America, Appalachia, just kind of a woman, especially like a woman of a certain age, trying something out. Like I really do. Like seriously, Glenn Close is such a chameleon. Good for her.
Really, she is. And I was joking with Rob, like towards the end of the movie, I was like, remember 2 years ago when she was nominated for an Oscar and now she's doing this? Excuse me.
Well, hey, I mean, like Halle Berry followed up her Oscar win with what?
Catwoman?
Yeah. So, I mean, we all, they gotta do. Everyone's got to do something.
We need to be better to our middle-aged actresses, is what we're saying. I think that's what we're getting to.
Although, seriously, but look at Octavia Spencer, though. She got her Oscar, and then she did Ma, and she's having fun. Like, honestly, that's like I'm here for Octavia Spencer because she is like. I think she's just having a blast.
Making good choices.
Yeah. And I was like, even when she makes a crazy choice, it's like Nick Cage. That man has an Oscar, and now we have Longlegs.
Longlegs was, we did watch Longlegs this week on my birthday last Monday. It was so good.
Longlegs was so
It's
fun.
a little long. It's a little slow, but it's pretty funny. We get a great character out of
I guess fun's not the right
Nick
word,
Cage.
but I had fun.
I had fun. I liked it.
Right,
like I said, it was a little slow, and it's kind of fucked up. So, just trigger warning.
Again, there's a new loud singing that happens around the house now because of it.
But yeah,
courtesy of me.
Nick Cage's character, who you know is Longlegs from the start, Longlegs likes to sing, and so now we sing Longlegs songs around the house all the time.
But his singing is mostly kind of like a melodious yelling at you.
Yeah,
it's confrontational.
It's
singing.
very much. I feel like Nick Cage was driving around Hollywood one day in his car, and he's like, "Okay, what do I want to give to this character? I want to do something crazy." And he was just like, "I know, I'll scream at the top of my lungs to where my voice is breaking to get this character up." But it was good.
It's crossing a line between joy and horror. It's very strange. But yeah,
give it a whirl.
Seriously,
give it a whirl. Oh, that should be our other. That should be our.
Give it a whirl and you can skip it.
Give it a whirl and you can skip it. But yeah, Longlegs, give it a whirl. The Deliverance, you can skip it.
Oh, you can definitely skip it.
I'm surprised it hasn't gotten a plagiarism strike from Coppola. Who directed The Exorcist? No.
William Peter Blatty. No, William Peter Blatty wrote the book. Friedkin.
Oh yeah, and then to top it off, it is loosely based on a true story. As I feel like especially exorcism movies love to always put that line at the beginning.
That was the other thing I want to talk about. But continue your thing, and then we'll get into this.
It's loosely based on a true story. Well, then last night I don't know how, leave it up to the algorithm gods, but
I thought you looked that up.
No, it just appeared in my TikTok feed of the lady it's based on doing an interview, and then they also interviewed the police that are involved, and it is so Inside Edition comical, almost feels fake. And I was like, Lee Daniels saw this interview and was like, I'm gonna write this movie and turn it into a Netflix. It makes no sense. I don't understand how it happened because it's so bad and jokey.
Well, at least from that interview, though, I will say Andra Day, good casting. I feel like they did a good job of sort of Hollywoodifying this woman. I feel like they actually did a pretty good job of the lookalike casting. However, the cop in this interview is almost like the equivalent of that woman who got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. Or the surfer who's like, he gives the craziest interview I have ever seen
And I think it was Inside Edition.
That's the craziest interview I've ever seen a law enforcement officer, I think, ever give.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It very much wasn't even a Dateline or a 60 Minutes. It was Inside Edition,
news magazine, tabloid, news tabloid.
National Enquirer.
Yeah.
Just gimmicky tabloid. I was like, I cannot believe this got made into a film by Lee Daniels.
And so, let's talk about this based on true events thing, though, because seriously, it is so weird. And that obviously Fargo started with that statement, but they've at least said that was completely just fake. That was 100% for the movie, that the Coen brothers decided to slap that thing on there when it was not based on any real events at all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they completely said that was just fictional. They just had fun. But I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% positive on that. But it's always interesting because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, based on true events,
which is Ed Gein.
Yeah, the movie that more accurately kind of gives an impression of who that is based on is Psycho. Psycho is closer to Ed Gein's story than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. And so it's one of those things of I hear based on a true story. I'm like, oh, okay. So there was a guy named Jeff that was within 800 miles of where this takes place.
Loosely,
okay, cool.
We're very stretching the word loose.
Yeah. I heard there was a house in that area where a bad thing happened. What happened? Oh, I don't know, but I'm assuming it was bad. So let's tell a story about a chainsaw. This is very much one of those of oof, yeah, true story is very much especially, and I, as someone who is pretty firm in my atheism. Also, I tend to think of any true story involving possession as mostly just mental illness that a lot of people are incapable of processing.
Right. And it gets roll Jesus-y at the end. And you're like, well, this came out of nowhere. Now it feels like a Christian propaganda film. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I understand that like most exorcism movies are going to come with a certain level of faith attached to them. I mean, like, I feel like The Exorcist, obviously, but like The Exorcist was scary and it was fun and it ends as well as it can. And so I feel like at least, that movie is kind of where I'm at when it comes to if you're going to do this. But this movie just got a little bit like praise Jeebus at the end to the point of like, you're not just using it to cast out the demon. You're kind of throwing it at the viewer a bit.
Well, that's the thing too, is like whenever stuff gets super
preachy
and religious and like woo woo up in the clouds, but then they have to go back to just living in society and using technology and stuff. I'm just like,
they have to go back to being muggles.
It's so funny to me that like this giant epic battle of exorcising this demon happens, and then the next scene is like, well, I'll talk to the judge and hopefully you can get your kids back. And it's like, okay, we're just back in the real world.
Yeah, like,
got to deal with real world issues. Even though apparently you all saw the demon, but I guess you can't take that to court,
right? Yeah, like seriously, like the child protective services person who she literally said to another person and completely accurately identified a supernatural scene that we had all witnessed.
Yeah,
and he did not commit her. and also like, yeah, but she's not taking that to a judge.
Yeah.
That's not going to overrule that like a woman's kids were taken from her. Like this. There's a lot here of just like how do you can't really recover from that much of a break of the laws of physics.
Yeah, it was just so dumb, and none of it made sense. And literally, how did this get made?
And I'm willing to suspend some disbelief, but yeah, like that movie was also
a bit much.
Like literally, I think we took a break like an hour and 15 minutes in because I thought we were at like the 2.5 hour mark, and I was like, oh, there's another like 40 minutes of this movie, like. And at that point, I don't even think we'd gotten to the true possession. Like, at that point.
He wasn't even like fully possessed at that point.
Well, at that point, like I had already made the joke of just because most horror movies are usually, elevated horror dealing with some sort of issue, which can work, but also sometimes you just want, hacky slashy. And at that point, I looked at Todd and I was like, oh no. This entire home is possessed by the demon of alcoholism, which I'm not trying to make light of alcoholism. However, I don't need another horror movie that is taking... is
that an allegory?
Yeah, like people's personal, allegorical demons and turning them into... Literal demons. Because seriously, like, we've seen that movie so many times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that a lot of filmmakers are using movies to get out personal issues and stuff and deal with hard-hitting topics, but also sometimes you can just scare me.
All right, well, I think that's a great time to move on to our final segment.
Right, now we've exhausted ourselves with that movie.
What's your order? What's your order? I have here the trusty Rip and Dip blue shoebox filled with restaurants, ideas, holidays, things that involve food. Very specifics now. We've gone through so many things. This is episode 34. So, did I break something? Oh, okay. This is episode 34, so we've gone through many things, so now we're getting very specific. But Rob, it's your turn to choose. So please choose today's What's Your Order, which will be...
I had a little bit of a burp, and I just didn't want to do it in the mic again.
Today's What's Your Order is...
This... Okay, yeah, you weren't kidding. We were getting specific here. Chicken nuggets.
Yeah, chicken nuggets.
Which it is funny because seriously, you are married to a chicken nugget man.
You do eat like a teenager, but I also enjoy a nugget. I mean, I eat nuggets just as much as you do.
Seriously, like nuggets, and we used to have chocolate milk in the fridge all the time too, because I feel like
those
kind of go hand in hand, which is madness.
Hate it.
You're crazy. But so yeah, on to the nuggets. Let's talk nuggets
because there's so many, right? First of all, it's the only thing you eat at McDonald's.
True. We have addressed this before, but like for anyone that is new to this is one of those kind of interesting facts about me. And at this point, we've come so far that it's hard to not just keep it going. I've never had the beef at McDonald's. No idea why. Just kind of happened.
And I don't believe him. But if he says it, it's got to be.
I've never had a hamburger at McDonald's, at least that I can remember. I'm sure as a child I may have had one, but like I always have gotten McNuggets. Like I've been a McNuggets. I've been a nugget person as long as I can remember.
And then you added
now I'm into McChickens. And
which
spicy,
are just giant
hot and spicy
nuggets.
McChickens.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I am still very much an exclusively nugget man I've even went through like the chicken Caesar McShaker salad.
Oh, you did?
I went through that phase too. Like I've
salad
done,
in a cup.
I've never done the fillet of fish either. So like there are several proteins. Oh, but like I also do all the breakfast stuff, which none of those are beef.
Correct.
That's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, never had the beef McDonald's, but yeah, so I'm a McNugget man, and I had to say like of a fast food nugget, McDonald's is kind of, I would say, the standard.
Now, let's just say it right off the bat. Would you say that's your favorite nugget?
I would say it is the nugget that I compare all others to, and of currently available nuggets, it is absolutely the number one.
Okay, but what is your dream nugget?
Well, I have like, and this is a rose-tinted memory at this point. And we talked about this. I miss the old Burger King chicken tenders.
Yes.
They were super peppery.
They were just long nuggets.
But they had like a...
Because they were still processed.
But they were insanely seasoned. And they did different breading. They weren't tempura breaded. They were like a very different
They
kind
were panko.
But like...
Their form of panko.
Were they? Because yeah, it was...
Which is on the long
there was
chicken
like a ridge
sandwich.
to it. And yeah, it was so good. And... So I miss that style of chicken tender because it was just so peppery, and I don't like the nugget that they've taken on. Yeah. But yeah, like,
Burger King does have the cheapest nuggets though. It's like $1.50 for 10 or something. They're so cheap,
and their sauced nuggets are good. Like those new saucy nuggets are good. They're messy
if you get them fresh. If they sit longer than like 15 minutes in the bag on your drive home, which they absorb all the sauce and then they're just weird.
But no, as a nugget thing, I'd say like, you know, I love a tender going out to a restaurant also, but like we're talking like...
That's not a nugget.
I know. If we're talking nuggets here. Wendy's, those nuggets are like manageable. They're spicy nuggets though. Where it's
you
at.
do love a spicy nugget. Also,
I'm
love
a big fan of a spicy nugget.
A veggie spicy nugget.
Well, yeah, and so yeah, like I feel like that's my big stuff of fast food. Like overall, McDonald's number one. I enjoy a Wendy's. I'll make most nuggets work. Although like Burger King, I like a burger. You know, Jack in the Box, I like a burger. So I don't really get the chicken there.
I don't think there's a nugget I won't eat. I don't think there's a nugget I hate.
Right? Yeah, I feel like I'm always down for a nugget, although there are a lot of places where I'd rather not.
Yeah.
But at home though, I have discovered the wonder that is the spicy veggie nug. And like we've been kind of going between like what Morningstar, Nugs, Impossible. There's a handful of brand. Tyson makes a spicy
there's
veggie
one that
nug.
you hate. Is it Morningstar?
Morningstar is not my jam. I will manage, but like they're not very spicy. They're not very chickeny.
They're mostly they're the most soy I think of any of them.
And I've even done like the one that's oh my god, it's like a woman's name. Or two people's Jack and Annie.
Oh yeah.
And those are good too. But like are
those supposed to be jackfruit?
Those are jackfruit, yeah.
Yeah.
But the spicy Impossible nugs are damn good.
Yeah.
Like those are so good.
I don't know if you said it or not, but the air fryer rules our life.
Oh yeah.
The air fryer literally changed how we live day to day.
Absolutely.
We use our air fryer so much. Like we are very much microwave people, but air fryer came in and just tied it. I mean, we use our microwave and air fryer constantly.
And if we had an air fryer that was more front loady square, I imagine I would
kind of like a toaster oven.
Almost like a toaster oven. Yeah, I imagine if we had one of those, I'd probably be doing pizza in it. Like no brainer, obviously.
You tried pizza in it once.
I did. The problem is pizza's so long and our basket's kind of round.
Yeah.
And so like there's no good way to do like more than
you do your pizza rolls in there.
I do pizza rolls
which are the
in there.
nuggets of the pizza world.
It's true, which I am a big fan of. But yeah, so like I'm an oven pizza guy. But
yeah.
Tangent.
But
anyway, so yeah, but veggie nugs at home, spicy ones in the air fryer, damn good.
I love, like I said, all nuggets. There's not really a nugget I would be like, ugh, not these. But yeah, McDonald's is very much the OG, most not acquired taste, but like the most friendly, familiar taste. You know, they're just little tempura nuggets that have been the same since the 80s. Although I do very much miss the dark meat nuggets.
And saying I don't. I'm actually really glad they went all white meat. I love that. But
I hate that like portion of the 80s where they villainized certain aspects of food and just completely lied about their health quality and all this stuff. And so things just changed forever and never came back. And people realizing now, especially in the culinary world, that like thighs and dark meat and stuff is kind of better to cook with than breast meat, because breast meat is so dry and, you know, kind of flavorless. But anyway, I miss the dark meat nuggets from McDonald's that would sometimes have like a piece of cartilage in them. Oh, those are the best nuggets.
Also, and like I remember getting like the different flavor of the dark meat nugget and being like, okay, it's all right, but I'm glad it was not the dominant option.
Well, and what is your favorite go-to saying when you get a piece of cartilage and a piece of chicken?
Ugh, kneecap. As I take it out of my mouth.
Yeah,
like,
whatever he's eating, even if he's eating like a Caesar wrap or anything,
Doesn't matter.
If you get that little rubbery cartilage piece in your chicken, he always takes it as like, oh, I got a kneecap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love McDonald's. McDonald's nuggets. I always have. I always will. I don't know if I have a favorite nugget. I mean, honestly.
Well, and you're a sauce guy too, which we didn't address this because like I typically don't sauce very much, although I have warmed up to a buffalo sauce at McDonald's.
You do get the McDonald's buffalo, which is like a salty. It's not very sweet. Usually they add sugar. It's salty.
And occasionally I will also just add sriracha to my nuggets. Or
you'll just dip a nugget in sriracha, which back in the day before I developed a palate for spicy food, I always thought was insane.
Because I went through a sriracha phase where I was putting it on my nuggets, I was putting it on my Taco Bell, like everything got sriracha.
Yeah,
but
you got caught up in the hype.
But then it was funny, like, but
it's true. The hype is true. It's delicious.
It's true, and like not a nugget, but like at a restaurant when I get a tender, I typically get a side of Caesar dressing to dip in. I'm a Caesar dipper.
You hate ranch.
Do not like ranch. So like
hate ranch.
I have to get my Caesar instead. Anyway, continue.
I'm very much like McDonald's nuggets go in McDonald's sweet and sour. That's very much the combo.
That's your sauce, right?
I would never dip a McDonald's nugget in ranch. That's disgusting. Like I just wouldn't do that. But then like Wendy's nuggets, honey mustard, because Wendy's has the best honey mustard of all fast food. It's not even a contest. Wendy's wins.
No, but they also have the fun. Is Wendy's the one that has the ketchup where you can either rip off the tip and squeeze it, or you can tear off
Carl's
the thing
Jr.
and dip?
and Chick-fil-A.
Oh, those are cool.
Which I was going to say, kind of regrettingly, I think my favorite nugget is fresh Chick-fil-A nuggets, but I will never eat them ever again. And we also will never talk about Chick-fil-A on here. Like it will never be in the box. We're just very much anti-Chick-fil-A because, we're gay and we enjoy our lives and being together and having rights and stuff.
And I hate pickles.
And he hates pickles, which all the Chick-fil-A chicken is marinated in pickle juice. So, but I will say a fresh Chick-fil-A nugget in the Polynesian sauce, I think is what they're like sweet and sour. It is such a delicious nugget.
Chick-fil-A sauce?
Chick-fil-A sauce is disgusting. That's the thing. Like it's like ranch and barbecue sauce mixed together or something. It's so stupid. But they're sweet and sour like Polynesian sauce or whatever. But I'll never eat it again for the rest of my life until something changes about that company.
You just gotta learn how to make a dupe.
Which, speaking of dupes, at home, Costco has a Chick-fil-A nugget dupe that is very close. Now, it doesn't taste like it really, but it's very close.
I like those too.
And we put them in the air fryer, and
they're like popcorn chicken.
That's probably what I'm going to have for lunch.
Right? They're kind of like popcorn chicken almost, but like not quite that breaded.
Not super breaded. They're very lightly breaded, which is like the Chick-fil-A thing.
But they're like the little like chicken chunks, like little kind of cubes almost, like big chicken cube. Chicken cube.
Chicken cube.
Which is funny because we literally get a chicken cube that we give the dog as a treat, but we offer
the dog?
Well,
her name is Ruby.
But for some reason we always have to say it very much like Hypnotoad style, just chicken cube melody.
So yeah, Ruby's favorite nugget are chicken cubes from BarkBox.
Yeah.
But what else? So yeah, I love the Chick-fil-A dupe from Costco in the air fryer. I also love a Dino nugget. It's a very specific taste, and those have to be dipped in ketchup only. So yeah, Dino nuggets like Tyson nuggets got to be dipped in ketchup. The Chick-fil-A dupes from Costco, I like to do ranch, or I like to do like mayonnaise and ketchup, almost like a homemade fry sauce, or Thousand Island. Those are really good on those nuggets. Sweet and sour for McDonald's, honey mustard for Wendy's, and then I don't think we really get nuggets anywhere else.
Right? I feel like it's like they're available, but why would you?
Yeah. And the thing about Wendy's is I always get, I want to say it's a number 2, but it's just like a double cheeseburger, or it might be a number 1 part 2, because I think that's what they do, like number 1 and then how many patties you want or whatever. But I'll do a Wendy's burger, and then I'll always get a side of nuggets with honey mustard, pretty much to eat in the car on the way home. But that's how I've never just gotten the nuggets at Wendy's ever. And then, yeah, the Burger King ones, when they changed to like the long ones, or from the long ones to their new ones, they're okay. Like I said, I think it's like 10 for $1.50, or it was for a long time. We never go anymore.
Well, they know what they got there.
They had the best dollar menu nuggets. And then I feel like we're missing like a major nugget that I can't think of. But like I said, I love nuggets. And so, yeah, I guess...
I know that people are like, chickens don't have fingers and chickens don't have nuggets. I don't care.
Show me on the chicken where the nugget comes from. All of it.
Seriously.
I'm pointing at a chicken.
It makes me enjoy a chicken in its entirety.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes me appreciate the chicken.
Literally. Oh, that was the other thing. I don't know if KFC has nuggets, but they do have the best tenders. But again, those aren't nuggets.
Well, and they had popcorn chicken, but that's still not a nugget.
It's not a nugget.
It's not the vibe.
Stop. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Elementary school and like junior high school cafeteria, at my school at least, we got the KFC, like, you know, liquid mashed potatoes and brown gravy that one serves in a cafeteria. And then you get the like cafeteria nuggets and you dip the nugget in the mashed potatoes. That's how I ate them my whole life before like even like ketchup.
Well, it's funny because I recall like as a kid, the cafeteria thing. It's funny because this is the weirdest thing. I don't remember what the cafeteria food situation was like for nuggets when I lived in California, which is weird because I moved to California in first grade and did all of my school there. The one terrible like nugget situation I remember was back when I lived in Las Vegas, and for some reason like you got like a tray that had like the plastic film on it, like it went into the microwave, so it was very sweaty inside that thing, or you know, very steamy, and it was a bed of mashed potatoes with like a couple of nuggets on top of it, so they were soggy as hell.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like at home, like a TV dinner?
But it was like that, but that was what the cafeteria served.
Oh, they prepackaged them together?
That was what.
California is weird.
No, that was Vegas. That was actually what I remember happening in Las Vegas before we moved. And so I don't remember the nuggets in California being a scarring situation, but also I do remember actually taking my lunch with me to California more than I did in Vegas.
Yeah.
But also, sorry, and this is just a rando tangent, but I'm actually curious, and this could be an interesting comment thing. When you were in elementary school, and I'm curious for you too, did you have to like raise your hand and be excused from the lunch table when you were done eating?
No, you sat there until the bell rang.
Oh, okay.
Everyone came in and everyone came out. There's no like excuse to do what?
Well, like in elementary school, like you ate and then you went to the playground. Like then you did recess. Like after you were done eating, like lunch was like lunch and I guess free time outside.
I want to say like elementary school, like little kid elementary school was like class, recess, class, lunch, class, recess, class. We had 2 recesses.
Because we had like the sort of late morning sort of like 20-minute recess or whatever, and then you got like the 45-minute, which was like lunch and recess, and then you came back and just finished the day.
Yeah.
But it was funny because in Las Vegas, you didn't have to do that. At least like the school I went to, you could, if you wanted to, you could literally just walk through the cafeteria line, grab your food, throw it in the trash, walk out the door. You were done. Like it was fine.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But then in California though, like literally, I remember getting up after I was done eating, and like one of the TAs or whatever was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was like, what? Like I was shocked that they didn't let me just do my thing.
So you were bullheaded in 4th grade?
No, this was 1st grade.
1st grade?
I was used to having freedoms. Like I didn't understand that I couldn't just get up when I was done eating and leave. It's not like I was leaving trash everywhere. It was a thing of just like I was done eating and now it's time for me to go do this thing. And like, but apparently no, you had to like raise your hand where you were seated. A TA had to come and like inspect to make sure that you weren't leaving trash and that you were like done. And they're like, okay, go on. And it was like,
that's crazy.
Blew my mind. Well, it's like that scene in Mean Girls where like, you know, she doesn't understand why they won't let her just go to the bathroom when she needs to go.
Yeah.
Because it's not a thing that she was limited before. But like that was the thing that blew my mind coming from Las Vegas to California of, I guess, and that never changed. Like I remember like through, I guess, until high school, you were still kind of at least like fairly monitored of like, you know, you can't get up until you're done and your area is
lunch,
clean.
I think my whole career, lunch was pretty much like a class. Like everyone goes, like I said, everyone goes together, you eat lunch, you sit until the bell rings, and then you go to your next class. Like you don't just come and go for lunch.
I guess in middle school you were allowed to eat like
also
elsewhere though. So like that was the thing where they couldn't monitor if you were eating like, you know.
In junior high and high school, both we had I think 3 lunch periods. So it's not like the entire school went at the same time.
My school always had 2. Like we always had 2 lunch periods.
Yeah.
But
yeah. We always had third lunch, which is when they would start breaking down the cafeteria. So I just loved watching all the cafeteria gals break down the buffet and stuff. But what I was going to say is at my school, Chicken Nugget Day was mashed potato day. Like that's when those happened together. So yeah, you got to dip your nuggets in mashed potatoes. It's delicious.
Well, because in Vegas, you didn't get nuggets unless they were already in a container of mashed potatoes.
That's crazy. But all right, well, gang, tell us about your fave nugs. What did we miss? Did we miss any nuggets? I don't know if we did.
Right? I mean, I imagine Does Cane's have nuggets? Like,
no, they're only strips.
Oh, okay, because that's also highly regional, and I've never been.
Now I feel like I need to put chicken tenders in the box because, yeah, Cane's are so delicious. I love the ones from Dairy Queen because you can dip them in gravy.
Well, and like nuggets.
And they have Hidden Valley Ranch, like, brand on the menu.
Nuggets have fallen out of vogue in a lot of ways. Like, it has become more of a strip or a tender world.
Right. But yeah, tell us what your favorite nugget is, gang. And thanks for listening. And we'll keep you posted on the rebrand. For now, we're just going to be GFF and Friends. So thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And hopefully those numbers will get up. We got so many more people watching YouTube because Kendra was on. So hopefully we can keep those numbers up.
And hopefully we freed up some time by maybe shortening your to watch list.
Exactly.
We de-influenced maybe a little bit.
Let us know if you watch those movies and how you feel about them. But all right, well, I hope you guys have a great week. Happy September. We made it.
I hope you had a good Labor Day.
Yeah, happy fall. We're here. It's all happening. We're approaching daylight savings. And yeah, we'll talk to you on the next one. All right, we love you. Goodbye.